Good evening. Welcome to the July 19th, 2023 meeting of the Gaithersburg Planning Commission. Thank you, everybody in the audience, for being here. We don't have minutes tonight, so we're moving right to our recommendation to the Mayor and City Council on the petition for annexation. And it's a long intro, so Kirk, why don't you just do it once and save me the trouble. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. As the aerial photo shows up here, this is a continuation of the recommendation on annexation petition X-9510-2023, which is for the 9.5 acre Walnut Hill Commercial area located at 16531 South Frederick Avenue, 8939 North Westland Drive, and 8941 North Westland Drive. The petition was introduced at the May 15th, 2023 Mayor and Council meeting, and the Commission reviewed the annexation during its July 5th, 2023 meeting. And they voted, at that commission, the Commission voted to defer final action on the recommendation to tonight's meeting on July 19th. The Commission did accept comments on the recommendation through last Thursday, July 13th at 5 p.m. There are currently 60 exhibits in the record, and there was one comment received during the comment period, and that was in support of the annexation, and that is exhibit number 60, which was added to your packet earlier this week.
Got it.
I'm going to show the annexation plan now, which hopefully is showing up on screen there. As mentioned during the July 5th meeting, Planning Commission's role in the annexation process is to determine whether the proposed zoning is appropriate, whether the annexation plan complies with the city's master plan, and whether adequate public facilities exist to serve the proposed annexed area. Staff notes that the annexation petition precedes any development reviews and any actual construction. So should the annexation be approved by the Mayor and City Council, the applicant would then need to submit a final site plan for review by the Planning Commission, which would then provide additional detail like building elevations and landscaping, and actually maybe a combined preliminary final site plan, actually. I think I misspoke there for a second. Staff is supportive of the annexation petition and recommends the Planning Commission make the following motion. And additional information about staff's recommendation may be found in the preliminary background report, which is included in your meeting packet tonight. So staff recommends that the Planning Commission, based upon the findings presented in the preliminary background report, the applicant's testimony, and the evidence in the record, find and recommend to the Mayor and City Council that the proposed C2 and CD zoning for annexation petition X-9510-2023 are appropriate. The proposed annexation plan is in compliance with the city's master plan and strategic plan. And lastly, the annexation area can be served by both existing and future public facilities. And staff is available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kirk. Any questions?
No, just a brief, I know brought up last time, but there's that out parcel, which I can't remember the number of now, that's the Dharma, what did we decide it was? The small restaurateur that's over in that corner. That
yes.
Metro DAPA.
And I think planning can be confusing. I know we don't think it is, but it can be very, very confusing, particularly for someone who has to switch jurisdictions in midair, just not having moved, not having done anything, and all of a sudden they're in a different jurisdiction. It can be quite a burden just from running a business to, there isn't actually a lot for them to learn, right? But staff, community outreach, whoever it is, we don't want our planning decisions to be too much of a burden on local business, and we just want to make sure that it's explained to them what actually is the implications of the change and all the rest of that fun stuff. So
yeah, and staff has met with the owner of that property. We had some discussions with them. I believe staff met with them again a couple weeks ago, Greg, is that correct? And so I think we're making some progress with them.
Yeah, my
I think they are aware
6 times.
Yeah, so
But to be clear, is the owner of the property owner the same as the operator of the business, or?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
For that property, yes.
So as long as they understand the licensing and things, it'll get plopped around a bit. Okay, good point.
It's kind of a just all of a sudden through no action of their own, they're switching jurisdictions. It's weird. But the
Well, the
planning
snow
is great.
plowing will be better now in front of the
Yeah, I guess so.
Think of it that way.
Yeah,
There's an
okay.
upside.
All right. But that was my only.
Okay, great. Any other comments? I mean, I think in general, we see annexation agreements for recommendation to council, and we usually have some concerns about how things will knit together with the adjacencies. And this almost feels like it was meant to be. It was something that was sort of outstanding and should have been resolved long ago. So it's clearly a good fit. And I appreciate the analysis that places it square in the middle of the objectives for business development along the 355 corridor, and that the owner is coming forth with some really interesting plans for that to happen. So I don't see any Any reasons not to?
And based on the modest use, I think it's a full-throated endorsement for a final preliminary combined
Good
plan.
point, yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I think we could see that. All right, if there are no other concerns or comments, what's the motion from the Planning Commission, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Planning Commission recommend to the City Council that the proposed zoning of C2, general commercial, and CD Carter development for annexation X9510-2023 is appropriate based upon the findings presented in the preliminary report, and the proposed X9510-2023 annexation and associated plan are in compliance with the city's master plan and 2022 strategic plan based upon the findings presented in the preliminary report, and the proposed X9510-2023 annexation and associated plan can be served by both existing and future public facilities based upon the findings presented in the preliminary report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Kurt, for all of
Those are
good work,
numbers.
and I look forward to seeing the plan
Play those
soon, I
numbers.
guess, right?
Really,
Yeah.
I'm going to play those numbers today in the lottery, 9/5/10/2023.
All right, that's right, the drawing tonight. All right, so next is up from the commission. Lloyd, can I start with you, please?
Nothing really to add.
Danny, anything today?
Surprisingly, nothing.
Anything today?
No, nothing.
All right. Phil, anything?
Nothing for me.
Okay. And I don't have anything either, and it looks like we're going to go to the planning report from staff, right?
Yeah, so I just want to make note that in their packet tonight was the annual planning report for calendar year 2022. So it was exciting when we put this together because it does showcase a lot of the work the city's been doing over the last year in the development field. I do want to give a great big thanks to Jasmine Forbes, our planner on our staff. She, as in every year, has put this together for us and has really taken the lead on getting this project, or getting this report done, as well as the MDP report that you saw earlier, I think it was about last month when they came before you. So again, I'm available if you have any questions.
And I appreciate the fact that in most jurisdictions, this would represent kind of a perfunctory report that just you have to do, grunt it out and be done with it, but that the staff knows the importance of making this accessible to everybody and putting together a really nice presentation of that information and data. So I know we appreciate that a lot, and especially Jasmine's work to pull it together.
Yeah, she does all the graphics and takes all the photos, so.
Hey, Greg, and for the public's information, how can I get to see a copy of this report?
It will be posted on the city's webpage, under
Within the
the
next-
planning page, website, yeah.
Within the next couple of weeks or
Yeah,
next week?
yeah.
Okay, good.
The only thing it sort of reminds me of, and I'd like to get this back on track, if we could get planning awards on the calendar.
Okay.
Yes.
Because this report kind of reminds me, we've been through 3 or 4 years of pretty active, despite everything else that was going on in the world, it's remained a pretty active and pretty productive time in the city, so I'd like to see if we could get that on the calendar. Maybe at the next meeting or the first meeting in September, whatever fits your schedule, if we could talk about when that would be logically, like what the span would be to get ready for it and all.
Okay, I can come back with some ideas for the
Okay.
next
And
meeting.
categories as well, I guess.
Yeah, at some
This
point,
last
but
time.
the very first round might be to talk about what a reasonable time frame is to set up for it and put it on the calendar for people to
Good.
kind of know about it. I'm
Okay.
guessing it's going to be maybe into 24 by the time we can get that on the calendar, but I don't know. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. Good. What else?
other than that, just a reminder, a couple dates, there's a joint work session this upcoming Monday, July 24th, on the retool Gatesburg project. Staff's going to provide an update and have some questions for the Planning Commission and Council related to some process, as we looked at, and how we can revise the code for flexibility and, help projects go through the process. So we look forward to having that conversation on July 24th, and our next Planning Commission meeting is Wednesday, August 2nd.
Cool. Great. All right. Frank, thanks for being here.
Good job, Frank.
A lot of real Frank right today, right?
You never know, if something gets out of hand, I'm here, especially with the audience.
That's why we're so well behaved, because you're sitting there, not giving away the city.
Yeah, now the tree's going. Somebody hold it.
Actually, in another life, I was liaison to a county delegation for Carroll County, a different county, in a different time and a different year. And sometimes it was simply the fact that I was there representing the county's interests at the delegation meetings was more than enough. I didn't really have to do anything
Yeah.
else. My presence was enough. So
Carry a big presence.
sometimes that's all.
Sounds good. Kirk, anything else tonight?
No, like I saw out of respect, I'd wait till the meeting was over since we're almost there.
Okay, sounds good. All right, there's nothing else. Have a good evening, we're adjourned.
It's great.